Hello and welcome to Boring Dad Gaming, where today I'm going to be playing Slay the Princess. This is a new game, came out yesterday. It's described as a psychological horror game, and it's got this sort of lovely hand-drawn looking sketch type art that I think looks really cool. I don't really know a huge amount about it. I know that it has... okay. I know that it has some unsettling themes. It's got some supernatural stuff going on, I think. I know it has a lot of endings. You know, I think it's possible to finish the game in a few minutes, but, you know, you do multiple runs, you make different choices, and just have a look at, you know, what different things you can do. So we're going to give that a go. One thing to quickly mention is this is by the same developers as a game I played around this time last year, Scarlet Hollow, which is still in early access. I played the first chapter of that last October. I'm like, you know, it's been sitting in my library waiting for them to, you know, bring out the full game, and I'll do a full playthrough of that then. But let's get started with Slay the Princess. Chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I'm going to move the screen around to a limited extent. Okay, we've got some choices. Explore. The end of the world. What are you talking about? Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? Getting a princess seems kind of bad though, doesn't it? Can't someone else do this? Forget this, I'm not doing it. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world ending? Do I get some sort of reward? Various things. Alright, well let's just try and sort of roleplay this as kind of myself, I guess, to start with. Well, let's find out some more. The end of the world, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
There's loads of choices, so I'm just going to pick the ones that seem natural to me. But how can a princess locked away in a basement end the world?
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
Being a princess seems kind of bad though, doesn't it?
Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
Okay, so you can actually work through more of these than I thought, so... do you have any evidence to back this up?
Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
Okay, so we can continue at this point. So, what about, look, I'll go to the cabin and I'll talk to her, and if she's as bad as you say she is, then maybe I'll slay her. But I'm not committing to anything until I've had the chance to meet her face to face.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed. So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us.
Getting kind of Stanley Parable vibes from this a little bit.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Okay, so that's our voice.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, maybe not our voice. Proceed to the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Well, we can take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Our little mouse has changed now. We've got a little fist is holding a dagger. Alright, into the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour.
Maybe.
Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Hi.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
She doesn't sound too scared.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
I'm just here to talk.
Then why did you bring a knife with you? How about you drop it, and then we can chat?
She makes a compelling point. What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Look at her. It's not like she's a threat. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Sure, let's drop it.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment,
She's got big
step
eyes.
forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
I'm here because you're supposed to end the world.
Don't just tell her that.
Oh. Is it a secret?
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here a long time.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
No. I was hoping you'd tell me.
Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So,
Clicked
I
to
could
also
tell you
just
that
wondering
I'd
if
lead
it
a
would move the
quiet
text
life in
along
the
automatically.
woods,
I think it
or
did.
that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear.
We're just going to move on?
But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch no less.
What's your name?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
How long have you been down here?
Too long.
Okay. A relationship? Are you coming on to me?
Don't jump to any weird conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
How would I get you out of here?
You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't... well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right? She is. I'm sure of it.
Okay, we've talked enough.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
Well, we're not going to kill her on the first run. We might. I kind of want to see what the consequences are. So let's try and get her out of here.
Oh, you have to be kidding me. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
If you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it. I'm sure it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Wouldn't they? Okay, I'm gonna check upstairs. Maybe the key's still lying around somewhere up there. And if not, maybe I can at least find something to break you free.
I'll be here.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place.
Ah. Not ideal.
Someone else here?
I'll try the door.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Hey, let me out of here.
Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
There's you. I think I took it off auto. So return to the bottom of the stairs.
You make your way back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
Who is they?
The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
You won't like what happens if you do that.
Well, we have two choices here. Save the princess.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and you make quick work of it. Before long, you're able to crack through bone, and she pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron gauntlet.
She didn't so much as utter a sound.
Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce gaze meeting your eye. How is she so composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
Approach the locked door, I suppose.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I just can't let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
We don't look particularly healthy, do we? We
This
got
isn't fair. You
claws.
can't just do that.
We're some kind of
Watch me.
monster. We could warn her. There is an option there. Warn the princess.
Stop that.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the princess swiftly moves out of the way before you can connect. Stop it! Stop resisting me! I am trying to get you out of here alive.
Resist.
The blade. Move the blade.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
You're gonna kill us.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease. Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground, blood flowing from your butchered neck. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. I hope it was worth it.
Ooh, Chapter 2, The Prisoner.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay, so we've got some different options now. I think we can do all these. Wait, hasn't this already happened?
It hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. Don't forget what he did to us the last time around. I wouldn't trust a word out of his mouth. There's got to be a way out of here, for us and for the princess. We just have to keep trying.
This is the voice of the skeptic now, not the voice of the hero.
I'm inclined to agree.
Oh, no, he's there.
If he doesn't remember what happened last time, maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you two, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. And as far as trying to help her goes, need I remind you how catastrophically dangerous she is to the world at large? I told you about the stakes of this situation less than a minute ago.
Okay, let's assume I'm telling the truth and all of this really did already happen. Why should I listen to you? Why should I bother doing anything?
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. If you're back here, I'm assuming you died, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
I mean, yeah.
The absolute irony. Well, that's one way to put it, I guess. You really don't remember what happened last time, do you? You practically forced the princess to kill us. That doesn't sound like the sort of thing I'd do. Which is honestly all the more reason for you to not buy into whatever self-delusions the three of you are crafting. But this is a thought experiment, so I suppose I'll continue to give you the benefit of the doubt. If I did practically force the princess to kill you, it was probably for a good reason. Did you try and free her? Did you say something really mean to me? Because if I really did what you said I did, you probably deserved it. I'm a professional, after all.
Sure you are.
Anyway, I believe your second question was, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. You forced the princess to kill us and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would?
What a conveniently ambiguous group of things for her to ruin. For all we know, the princess left the cabin and never saw another soul.
Oh, how I wish that were the case, but if the princess weren't a certain, inevitable threat to the world, the four of us wouldn't be here. And yet, here we are.
You're talking in circles.
No, I'm talking in facts.
Let's talk about this princess.
Just be quick about it.
Who locked her in that basement? What is this place?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
If people locked her away, why couldn't they slay her? Why is this falling on me?
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special. You're the only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps, but it's just the way things are. Oh, I didn't know we were special. Of course you're special. Why else would you be here? Yes, right. We're here because we're special. Look, you're annoyed that you're here. I get it. I'm also annoyed that I'm here. But we're all in this together, and we're dealing with a bit of a ticking clock right now, so please just get to the cabin.
The only reason she was even able to kill me last time was because I let her. All she did was slit my throat. How was she supposed to win the world?
She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. You haven't given us an ounce of proof. You do know that, right? What proof could you possibly ask for? Literally anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine. Check your pockets.
Ooh. Check my pockets.
You put your hands
The
in your
evidence.
pockets and pull out an envelope with the words, "The Evidence," written across the front. Within, you find a note in your handwriting. It reads, "The princess will end the world if you don't stop her. This is an immutable truth."
I mean, who can argue with
prove
that?
anything. How do we know you didn't just forge our handwriting? I wish I could tell you more, but there are some rules I have to follow for all our sakes. Please just trust that these rules are in place for a reason. I'm on your side.
You mean you're on our side as long as we do what you tell us to?
Exactly. Because you not doing what I tell you to do
means you're putting the world at risk. I think we've got everything out of him we're gonna get.
Being cagey, what aren't you telling me?
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to trust me here.
How about no? That's all, I guess.
Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
What happens if we just turn around and leave?
I'm not so sure running away is the best idea. We're not the only person stuck here. What about her?
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
Nope. Literally, an answer is nope. You know, I'm going to say it because I said it. Nope.
Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Turn around again and leave again.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came.
You probably tell how I played the Stanley Parable. Just did everything the opposite.
Right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up back at the cabin again. Everything is getting...
Something's happening.
What's going on? Where are we? Did we do this? Is this the end of the world? Was there ever even a world to end?
The world around you is unwound, its physical matter replaced by textured nothingness. It is quiet. There is a distant rumbling, a sound of many sounds. Undulations pulse louder as something other comes close. Ooh. Feelers probe across the fabric of reality. Extremities find your consciousness and wrap themselves around it. You are no longer alone. Resistance. Fingers drag claws across the glass surface of your soul. Frustration. This vessel is full of you. I need something empty I can crawl inside of. I need something shaped like me. How about we wake up this time? This is a nightmare. Wake up. It's not. Chapter... Return to your destined path or face the consequences was a little thing I just got.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay, so we've got the same options we had at the beginning now. Sweet. I've always wanted to offer Monarch. Vive la Revolution.
That's the spirit. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
Okay.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
I'm just going to enter the basement. I'm going to leave the blade here this time. But don't take the blade. She can't kill me with it.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place.
We had all this before.
Softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Just checking in on you.
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
I'll see what I can do. Let's have a look at them.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
I'm going to go upstairs and check.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement.
Okay, so we do get locked
but
in
the door
again.
at the top of the...
Is someone else here?
Try these options
Your
again.
shouts and pleas are met with silence. I'll repeat myself.
Try the
You
door.
try the door, but it's locked from the outside.
Okay.
You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
Let's try this. Let's try the slay option this time, because otherwise I feel like it's just going to go down that same path again.
Without hesitation, you bring the blade down and plunge it into the princess's back.
Oh, weird arm.
Finally. The wound drives her to the ground. Okay, there's no going back now. I'm with you to the end.
You bastard. Were you lying to me this whole time?
The princess pushes away from you, the motion ripping the blade from her back. Wounded, but still alive, she crouches on all fours in the corner of the room and meets your eyes with the ferocity of a cornered predator.
You've made a terrible enemy, and there's nothing in the world that can possibly save you from me.
I thought we had the upper hand, but it It's as if she's barely even threatened by us. It's an act. She's wounded and unarmed. There's nothing she can do to hurt you.
I mean, I don't think that's true.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Don't waver now. As you ready your blade to deliver a lethal blow, she lunges at your legs with the same animal ferocity she used to tear at her arm. Your knife cuts into her again and again as you're tackled to the ground, your body racked with pain as she rips into you with tooth and claw. Forget about trying to rescue her. This is about survival now. Give her everything you've got.
Alright, we'll try it again.
Though your nerves are seizing with pain, you know you've done your fair share of damage as well, your blade having left deep gashes in the princess's back. You seize a moment of hesitation to throw her off of you and shakily push yourself back to your knees. We can still turn this around.
Let's try and finish the job.
You steel your resolve and take another step closer to the princess. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can still make sure that she won't make it out of here either. Excuse me? What's this about not making it out of here alive? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone in this room is still standing right now. Don't act so surprised.
Can you not feel all those gashes and holes pulling you apart? If the princess doesn't do you in here, blood loss is certain to finish the job.
You take another step forward, and the princess lunges towards you. The two of you enter one last exchange, a flurry of blade and claw and fleshy ribbons. And then you stop. Neither you nor princess able to go any further. You collapse on the ground, and the princess collapses beside you. Blood pools around you both, and you watch each other fade away.
After all this time alone, I thought I'd finally found a friend, but you were just another monster, weren't you?
Silence as the room starts to get fuzzy around you. You've paid a terrible price, but you've saved us all. It's over.
If you think this is it, you're sorely mistaken. One way or another, I'll make sure you pay for this.
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Go. Chapter 2, The Witch.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
But I already slew the princess. Sure, she also killed me, but I definitely got her. Why am I here again?
I can assure you that you didn't slay her and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest.
The opportunist
I'm not sure
now.
we can trust him. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue, bit of the old brain fog. I meant to say that we should probably head over to the cabin and slay that princess. We already know we can't trust her, so let's get on with the show.
Don't want to do that one again. Okay, let's proceed to the cabin this time.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Don't worry. You can trust us to get the job done. The interior of the cabin is a mess of twisted roots. The walls a chaotic weave of knotted wood that, almost as if by accident, just happened to resemble a room. The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a shelf, with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement.
You'll need it if you want to do this right.
You didn't say anything about the mirror on the wall.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's the muddy shelf, the blade sitting on the muddy shelf, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror, but he says there isn't one. That's got to count for something, right?
Approach the mirror.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny.
Wipe it clean.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. Well, at least we can all agree now that there's nothing to see here. Case closed. Good work, everyone.
I'll tell you what, I'll take the blade, because it feels like we end up with it anyway.
You take the blade from the shelf. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Well, if we're grabbing a weapon, we should probably keep it hidden behind our backs. She doesn't have to know we have it. That's not actually a bad idea. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The ceiling is thick with roots that hang like locks of tangled hair. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. It shines in the darkness like some kind of massive maw waiting to swallow you up into the earth. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite.
I'm not nasty.
But you are. You're a wretched little thing. I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path. I know who you are, and I remember what you've done.
She must have you confused with someone else. She seems friendly enough. Maybe we can talk our way out of this whole situation. You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions? Do you want to hear what everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop lingering. Your task is to slay the princess, not endlessly debate about what to do with the princess. Fine, fine. You're the boss. Thank you.
Ooh.
You descend the basement steps, entering the dark room below. You can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom. She's huddled against the far wall, her eyes bright and glaring from amid the thick roots.
And there you are, one hand tucked away behind your back, gripping that sharp, sharp blade, no doubt.
That's no fair. How would she know that?
So, we've dropped the pretenses. Good.
You made a comment back in the woods about having been here before. Now she's acting like the two of you already know each other. Oh, no. You've already been here, haven't you?
Told you.
That's pretty sharp. How'd you figure that one out? Call it deductive reasoning. Well, you seem to be great at it. So, you really don't remember us, do you? No, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have a shared reality, even if I'm not a part of it. I won't waste time fighting you on something that's clearly true. I'm just glad we could put all this behind us. Is it all behind us? Just focus on the task at hand. I don't care if you've been here before, and I don't care if you think you'll go somewhere else after this. My world is on the line right now, so I'd appreciate it if you would take this seriously and slay her. Let's chat her up a bit first. Maybe we can find a middle ground where everyone's happy.
don't talk to her, you're just going to make things more difficult than they have to be.
Well, I seem to remember you having a tongue.
This one. You scared me, okay? When you started gnawing your arm off, it scared me, so I stabbed you. Things got out of hand.
Things did get out of hand, didn't they? But it's hard to let bygones be bygones when they led to murder. And you started it.
Look, I made a mistake. We all make mistakes, right? I'm sure you've made mistakes.
Ooh, smart. Let's apologize, get us back on the right foot.
The only mistake I ever made was thinking you would help me. And I'm not going to make the same mistake twice.
Well, that leaves us at a stalemate.
But unfortunately, I need you if I'm ever going to leave this place.
I'm leaving, bye. Why do I have a nagging feeling you're going to stab me in the back if I help you get out of here?
And why would I do such a thing? Is someone's guilty conscience getting to them? But I wouldn't worry. As much as I may hate you, letting you live is in my best interests. If you get me out of here, the only thing that will be dead and buried is the bad blood between us.
Oh, that nagging feeling you mentioned is me, by the way. I'm actually a little anxious about a potential backstabbing event. She needs us to get out of here. We'll be fine if that's what we decide to do. You won't be fine because destruction is in her nature. If she gets out of here, that's it for the world, remember? Even if that's true, that doesn't automatically mean she's going to stab us in the back. I think that depends on your definition of words like stab and in the back. She might not literally do that, but she could very well symbolically do the same thing. See? He gets it. There's nothing wrong with looking out for number one.
Okay, don't worry, the blade isn't for you, or not for killing you. We've got to get you out somehow, right?
Oh, I don't need you to cut me out.
The princess grins as the chains fall from her wrist. She could have gotten out of those the whole time. That sneaky little... A woman after my own heart, really. She knows how to hold her cards close to her chest. This is why she can't just be abandoned here. If left to her own devices, she'll find a way out. Now stop her.
Okay, let's leave.
Yes, let's.
She creeps forward, taking one cautious step at a time until you and she are face to face. She never breaks eye contact, even as the two of you find yourselves face to face. She's silent for a long moment, as if testing to see what you'll do now that she's within arm's reach.
After you, darling. You're the one it lets come and go. It's best if I follow.
Oh no, we can't have that. If anyone is going to turn their back on anyone else, she's going to turn her back on us. It shouldn't matter who leads and who follows. We're working together here. Well, if it doesn't matter, then she can go first. We may be in this together, but that doesn't mean we have to trust her. We're armed and she's not. What's she going to do? Bite us when we're not looking? You're talking a lot about trusting someone who, by her very definition, cannot be trusted. I don't know how many more warnings I have to dole out, but if you help her out of here, you're going to regret it.
You first.
And turn my back on you? Do you think me a fool? Your tricks are one of the only things I've known, and I've learned better by now.
Just go first.
You're the one who said you can't leave here without me, which means I hold all the cards. Either you go first or we stay here. Up to you.
The princess leans close, her nose twitching as she sniffs your neck inquisitorially. What is she doing? I think she's trying to figure out if we're lying, so it's a good thing we didn't lie.
Your stink is the stink of a wretch, but not of a liar. If I have to go first, I'll go first. But I'll have you know my ears are sharp, and I've got eyes on the back of my head. They'll be watching.
Eyes on the back of her head? Does she really?
No, we're fine.
The princess pointedly turns her back on you and starts up the stairs. You follow close behind her, the two of you walking on tiptoes through the knotted roots of the basement stairs.
It's time, boys! Stab her in the back! Do it! Do it now!
Wait, I thought we were helping her escape.
Of course we're not. You didn't buy all that noise I was putting down, did you? I was just waiting for a moment for us to strike. She has it in for us, you know.
I'm not stabbing her in the back.
You do realise that she hates us, right? If we don't make the first move now, she's going to find a way to make the first move herself. Why would she do that? She wants to leave, which means we need to work together. She knows that. She wouldn't just act against her best interests. I don't know, if I were her, I'd betray us. Look at me right now, suggesting betrayal. You really need to learn to put yourself in someone else's shoes. I'm with that little weasel. You have an opportunity to save the world. You should take it.
No, I'm not doing it.
And that's a great idea. See, this is why you're in charge and I'm not. You think things through. You stick to your guns. It shows real leadership, and more people should be like you.
We're almost there. You better not try anything. I know you're thinking it.
Us? No, never. I can't believe she'd even suggest that. The gall.
The princess reaches the top of the stairs and crosses over the threshold, turning back to smile at you.
Bye-bye, you loathsome little nuisance.
And she slams the door on you. Its lock swiftly clicks into place.
Maybe not stabbing her in the back wasn't such a great idea.
Oh wait, we're in the basement.
The princess cackles from the other side of the door.
How does it feel to be locked away and forgotten by the world? Isn't it just awful?
Okay, fine, you got me. Very funny. Can you let me out now?
No, you're going to sit down there forever, languishing.
Please let me out. I promise I won't be mad.
As if I could ever trust you after everything you've done to me. And after what I've done to you, you can't trust me either. Neither of us is ever getting out of here. It's in our nature to be trapped.
I thought you needed me to get out.
I do, but I just couldn't help myself. And we both know that you're already scheming about how to get back at me if I ever open this door. So we're going to stay exactly as we are right now, for as long as either of us lives.
Try the door.
You tried it. It's locked.
Force the door.
Throw yourself against the door. It won't budge.
Okay, what happens now? I'm stuck here.
Why isn't he saying anything?
I think he's gone.
Oh, I didn't think I'd ever have to see you face to face again. Otherwise, I might have given you a little more courtesy at the top of the stairs. No hard feelings, I'm sure. Why is everything going away? I feel cold.
That's what happened to us the last time. But you don't get the chance to respond. Something has taken her away and it's left something else in her place.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her?
And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Oops. Narrator's gone.
He is. Does that mean the world ended?
We're top of the pecking order now. Right, boys?
I don't know where she went, and I don't know how we'd even go about looking for her.
Does this mean we won?
You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing.
I think I'm supposed to go and look at the mirror.
There's something
dreadful about it.
I don't think you should. If he thinks it's bad, I'm with him. I'm begging you, don't do this.
Mira never scared you before.
It's different now. It feels, I don't know, final.
You approach the mirror. Gaze at our reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what's in it. It's you. Can I make out with kind of like a very hairy, shambling beast, maybe with wings at the back? You are alone in a place that is empty. It is quiet here. Proceed to the cabin. You are at the cabin. Approach her. You recognize the presence inhabiting the shell. It is the entity that dwells in the spaces between.
Something returns to the long quiet. It has surrendered its path of annihilation and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
You're that thing I met in the space outside of the woods, aren't you? I thought that was a dream.
Vague recollections, empty tunnels without a mouth. I am sorry if I frightened you.
What are you?
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
Solitary lights? What do you mean?
Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. I wish to be more.
I don't know what I am.
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
What is the gift of a fragile vessel?
Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond, perspectives to make my own. This one is hope, marred by bitterness. She could see the end of the tunnel, and the door was closed on her. She will make for a righteous and weathered heart. Do not mourn her. She is finally on the other side.
Is this the end of the world?
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
Good point. Do you know the narrator?
You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
Are you what sent me to slay the princess? Are you what trapped me here?
I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free.
You know about the worlds beyond this place?
I know only that they are.
Are you the princess?
She is part of me, and part of me is her.
Were you always the princess, or are you just making her a part of yourself?
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
What happens now?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
Aren't you scared that I'll find a way to kill you?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
How much will I forget?
Everything, until we meet again.
How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
More than you have found. but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
And I was sent to slay the princess to stop her from destroying the world. If I help you, is that what you're going to do?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
What are you going to do if I help you?
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
Okay, make me forget.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Whoa! Everything goes dark and you die. Chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
But I think we're going to leave it there for now. Yes, that was a pretty interesting first look at Slay the Princess. I'll come back and I'll play a bit more tomorrow. I'm interested to see how many different paths we can try and take, and there seems to be like sort of a bit of a meta progression thing going on, so I'm glad we got to see a sense of that in this episode. It kind of teases a little bit of what's to come. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, if you could hit the thumbs up button, that'd be fantastic. But I'm also interested in hearing any of your thoughts and comments on this as well. You know, leave a comment on the video just to talk through any theories as to what's going on, who we are, anything you like really about this. I think it's quite mysterious. I think that possibly you could have a lot of theories about it, and I'm interested in hearing what you've got to say. And if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, it'd be amazing if you could do that too. So I hope you come back next time for more Slay the Princess. But thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.